Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we are going to be talking about Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, otherwise known as Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I honestly don't know the difference. I think the reason the titles are different is varying between the USA and the United Kingdom. But anyways, the reason I'm doing these videos is because I tend to come across a lot of recommended videos in my YouTube feed as you would, and I came across a Harry Potter video and it sort of hooked me in. I'm like, those would be some good movies to do. So, yes, I'm going to be doing all 8 of the Harry Potter movies. I am still in the process of finishing the last 2. I need to watch, or no, I need to watch The Half-Blood Prince and The Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2. But so far, I've gotten all the way up to the Order of the Phoenix. So we're going to start out with the very first one. This movie came out in 2001, and it stars Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson, I believe that's her name, and a slew of other characters that you will come to love, come to hate, and see throughout all these movies. The only big switch that was in the series was Albus Dumbledore in the third movie, because the man who played Albus Dumbledore in the first 2 had sadly passed away in 2002 of cancer, and so they knew that they had to find somebody that was going to do the job right, and the Dumbledore that is played from the third one to the end one does a fantastic job. And I'm not discrediting the actor who played in the first 2, but I feel like the man who played, and I'm actually gonna search this up real quick. The man who played in Prisoner of Azkaban all the way to the Deathly Hallows Part 2, did Michael Gambon. Uh, I have to say he did an amazing job as far as being Dumbledore, but that's besides the point. So the Sorcerer's Stone came out in 2001, and it's based off of the Harry Potter books that J.K. Rowling did. And I really enjoy these movies. These movies to me would be sort of a childhood nostalgia, you could say, because they came out during a time where I'd say right around that the age group that they were going for, which I believe the first 2 are PG, and then they sort of followed with the age group. So the first 2 are PG, and then I believe the rest of them are PG-13, which I find really is good for the movies in the later series. But yes, the Sorcerer's Stone, you have a young Harry Potter finds out that he is a wizard by Rubeus Hagrid when he is visited on the remote island that him and the Dursleys are living at. And he's like, yep, this is what I'm doing because I can't stand living with these people. These people treat me terribly, which is, I would say, an understatement. And so he decides, you know what? I'm going to go and become a wizard. And what a great idea it was that he made the decision to do that, because you've got these, a lot of these people in these movies, like I said, they stay throughout all 8 movies, which is great, because that's one thing that I absolutely love about these movies, is that they do a good job of maintaining uh, continuity as far as characters. There's only a couple character changes. Like I said, Dumbledore's the main one that you notice, and then there's I think 1 or 2 other ones that if you look close enough, you'll notice. But with the Sorcerer's Stone or the Philosopher's Stone, this movie really it's it's giving you an idea of what to expect when it comes to these other movies. You've got Harry Potter as the main character, and then you've got Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger as sort of his two best friends and the other people that you're going to see the most throughout the movies. And then they show off a lot of the professors, and they keep a good continuity when it comes to what happens. A lot of the professors that are professors when it comes to Defense Against the Dark Arts, you're going to have a ton of different professors under that category, because typically, and sort of spoilers, but I'm sure everyone knows by now, just about, I'd say, close to half the professors that are Defense Against the Dark Arts teachers are always going to end up being one of the bad people in the movies, which I feel like is very good. It's very, it shows, that they're Defense Against the Dark Arts teachers, but really they're the ones who are a part of the dark arts themselves. And so in this movie, Harry gets a lot of questions answered about his life up to his 11th birthday. What happened to my parents? Why have these weird things been happening to me that are very sort of questionable? And he's trying to figure himself out, and a lot of the questions get answered for him. And at the same time, you sort of see Harry Potter open up, because it's the first time that he's got friends that he can talk to about certain things. And it's one of those things where if you let something build up in your mind and your body over a period of time, eventually you have to spill it out. And it's the movie that really he spills out sort of things that you can tell he's been trying to hold in and stuff like that. They did a really good job with this movie as far as setup, showing the wizarding world of Hogwarts and showing Diagon Alley and the shops, and just basically sort of the world of wizards and how it's contrastingly different from the Muggle world. And it really shows that in the first half an hour of this movie, with Harry going to buy all of his school supplies. You really get an idea of what you're going to be in for when it comes to these movies. It's going to be a lot of magic, it's going to be wizards, it's going to be witches, it's going to be all different kinds of stuff. And then as the movie goes on, you sort of they do a really good job of building up these characters. You get an idea of how Professor Snape is going to be in the movie. You get an idea of how McGonagall is going to be in the movie. You get an idea of how Dumbledore is going to be, and it just builds up all these different characters. And it's when you really think about it, every single character has a good backstory, and it's all intertwined very, very heavily, but they don't overwhelm you with that. They just give you sort of tidbits, like when they show the Weasleys, when they first introduce them. It just shows all the Weasleys that are either have been to Hogwarts or are going to Hogwarts. Same thing with Hermione. It just shows a little bit about her, and it shows all these different characters that you're going to see throughout the movies, which I thought is very, very smart and very good on Chris Columbus, the director of the first and the second movie, on his behalf, what he was able to bring to the table. Because when Chris Columbus, I'm sure, found out that he was going to be the director of the very first Harry Potter, I'm sure he knew that he had to bring a lot to the table, and what he brought was very good. So the movie sort of centers around the Sorcerer's Stone, or the Philosopher's Stone. And if you don't know any backstory about that, the Philosopher's Stone is a stone that makes anything into gold, but the main thing is that it gives eternal life to the person who holds it and the person who uses it. And in the first movie, you realize that Voldemort is the one who's after that stone, because he wants to make sure that he lives forever as a Dark Lord and make sure that, he does anything in his power to stop Harry Potter. And so that's what the main premise of this movie is. It's all revolved around the Sorcerer's Stone. But like I said, you've also got a lot of different things going on in this movie that sort of show who Harry Potter is going to be and what his abilities are throughout the next 7 movies. I liked the Quidditch match and the Quidditch sort of idea because Quidditch, ties in as being like the football or the soccer sport of the Wizarding world, and so I liked that they were able to do Quidditch and showing a Quidditch match because the Quidditch World Cup comes on later in the Goblet of Fire, and they show off different spells that can be used and will be used later in the movie. They do a lot of stuff where if they're gonna show it off earlier in the movie, they use it as a purpose later on in the movie. Like the Wingardium Leviosa spell comes into play when it comes to the troll, and just other sort of little spells that take part throughout the series sort of eventually get an arc to them. And everyone knows the Patronus spell, the most popular spell there is in the Harry Potter world. You get a big arc with that as well. But overall, this movie, I love it. It's one of those movies where I could watch over and over again. I'd say I watch these movies. I try to watch all 8 movies at least once a year, just so I have, not just for me, but just so I have, because I feel like everyone who likes movies should have some sort of knowledge on the Harry Potter world, because there's so many of the movies that a lot of pop culture sort of references will come from these movies, which it's a good movie if you've got sort of pop culture references. But for this movie, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. It's flawless in everything that it does from beginning to end. You never get bored throughout the movie. I'd say there's only one sort of boring part, but it all depends on the person. But yeah, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. So I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, or Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a like, and I will see you guys in the next video.